Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. Today is Friday, October the 16th, 2015. And today we're going to be talking about some of your concerns on eBay. We're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about your comments on last week's video because a lot of good points were brought up that I want to address. We're also going to talk about periscope, what I call double jeopardy. We're going to discuss more about seller locations, opening cases, China sellers, and things like that. For those of you guys who do not know me and have never seen my videos before, my name is Joe DeMarco. My eBay Motors seller ID is Hubcap Joe's. My current feedback is 9,827. When I hit 10,000, it's party time. A little dancing. We'll save that for a future video. And each Friday I come out here and we discuss your eBay concerns and that of the community. And I tell you some stories about my sales. You may remember in last week's video I covered a few topics that seemed to raise a lot of concern, and rightly so. We talked about seller locations. I brought up the fact that sellers are not putting their true locations in, they're just typing in United States, and eBay is letting them get away with that. Many of you guys agree with me. There was a couple of you guys that said that you like this because you live in obscure locations and you're afraid that buyers will not buy your items if they see where in the United States you live. I furthermore stated that when I buy stuff on eBay, I always check off the USA only box to try and eliminate all the China sellers. And somebody wrote in about people lying about where they're shipping from, China sellers. I believe it was Snarling Rabbit Big Dog 5150 wrote in and said that he has bought items that stated they were in the United States and they came from China. And this is indeed true. It hasn't happened to me, but it has happened to quite a few people that I know. It's another example of the China sellers circumventing the eBay system, the eBay rules and regulations, and getting away with it. I read all your comments regarding the China sellers last week, and 99% of you are in agreement with me. You're sick of them. I said they were like locusts. Somebody else wrote it and said that they're worse than locusts. They're terrible. They're invading eBay like the plague. I found exactly one single person who actually likes the China sellers, and that would be Rocky Boa 345. He stated that he feels that there is nothing wrong with the China sellers, that it's eBay, that eBay is to blame. Now eBay is tacitly allowing them to run rampant, so in that respect eBay should clamp down on them. But I do not condone what these China sellers are doing at all. Representing aftermarket items as original, undercutting US sellers, spamming the categories, using China e-packets to ship things to us cheaply, and if we have to return it, we have to pay maybe 10 times the amount. I think that's all wrong. I think many of you guys agree with me on this. But anyway, let's continue on some more topics from last week's video. I mentioned I was going to an eBay meetup that evening, or later in the day in New York City, which I did get to. Traffic was horrendously bad, but it was well worth going. I met a lot of cool people. I met another eBay rep from San Jose who flew out to talk to us, and we commiserated and compared notes and that kind of thing. I had planned to film it, but I did not. What I did instead was I periscoped it live. So I'm not sure how many of you actually saw the live periscope I did last Friday. For those of you who want to get in on this, on the board behind me, you'll see on the second line it says at Hubcap Joe's. That is my Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you will be subscribed to me on Periscope, I believe. They're hooked up. They're married in some way. So if you follow me on Twitter, you can then follow me on Periscope. Okay? and hopefully you'll find some of my periscopes enjoyable. Basically, there'll only be 2 topics I cover on Periscope: eBay and New York City events. I will probably be doing some New York City events this entire weekend because I'll be over there for the Open House New York 2015 Shindig. Yes, I did say Shindig. And speaking of that, I asked you guys last week how many of you guys had heard the word Shindig, and most of you did, but not all of you. So Gary the coin guy, it looks like you are on the outside. Come on out of the cave, man. But I was interested to read your replies on the Shindig question. I believe I also started telling you a story about a case I had opened against me. To rehash, I sold an item last month to a buyer, and without contacting me, he went right and opened a case saying item not received. This was just the other day. So the tracking number clearly shows it was delivered to his mailbox. So what I did was I called eBay right on the phone, got a customer rep, said to her, I had just had a case opened against the item not received, but you can clearly see that the tracking number showed it was delivered to his house. So she double checked, and yes, it did show that. She immediately closed the case in my favor. Within 20 minutes, the same buyer now opens a case with PayPal saying item not received. And this is what I'm calling double jeopardy. Heretofore in the past, a buyer could open a case with eBay or PayPal, but not both. That apparently has changed since eBay and PayPal split. So I want you guys to be wary of this. So in the PayPal case, they have all my information. They have the tracking number that shows it was in fact delivered. I have not yet received a response from them. I guess it takes them 4 or 5 days for some reason. My gut feeling what they're going to do is they're going to release the hold on my money, and they're still going to give the other guy his money back, because that's what they tend to do. But in no way will I be held responsible because the tracking number was uploaded. My important point here, guys, always upload your tracking numbers. And for those of you guys who sell really cheap items like $1 or $2 and say it's not monetarily feasible, don't sell $1 or $2 items, please. If you're going to sell those cheapy items, put them in a lot of like 10. So it's going to be at least $10 or more. This way you can upload the tracking number and protect yourself, guys. Please, it's not worth it for a $1 or $2 sale. I also spoke last week about guest accounts. What I had said last week was I had said that I do sell an awful lot to eBay guest accounts, and I wish that they could leave me positive feedback, or I wish that eBay itself would leave me automatic positive feedback after a month. So I had somebody write in. The Blue Llama Pilot eBay store guy wrote in and said that he's glad that the eBay guest accounts can't leave us feedback because he feels they're mostly inexperienced and would tend to cause more problems, more harm than good. And quite frankly, I would think that too. So let me amend my feeling by saying that I would like eBay and eBay only to automatically leave positive feedback for all successful guest account transactions after 30 days, assuming that the buyer has not opened the case or complained in some way. I mean, after 30 days, guys, come on, it's a given. We really should get the feedback we deserve, I think. I noticed a lot of you guys, quite a few of you, don't like to leave feedback until you get it from the buyer. That, of course, is your privilege. I find I get more feedback when I leave it first. Okay? That's just me. Do what works for you. The Skinny Cow wrote in and said he feels eBay makes it too easy to open cases, meaning buyers will still open cases against you even if they don't mean to. Now, I have researched this because just last week I told you guys that I had purchased some items on eBay and I had not gotten them. and I went through the trouble of not opening a case, but I did contact the seller. I clicked, I want to ask the seller about this item, or I have a question about the item that I purchased, because I know that will not open a case. But to be honest, I am an experienced eBayer, so I know what to do. But had I clicked on, I did not get my item, that one, that would have opened the case against the guy. And there's a lot of inexperienced eBayers that will open that, that will click that tab, not realizing they're opening a case. So in that respect, I do agree with the skinny cow. I understand it. It's not all that clear and transparent. But, please, I don't think it's going to be a big worry, even though it's that way right now, because as you know, in February 2016, and that's only, what, 4 months away? 4.5 months? It won't matter anymore. Because even if a person opens a case inadvertently, as long as you satisfy the person, you're clear. So if they say, where's my item? All right, bang, a case is opened against you. But if you could then upload the tracking or copy and paste it in an eBay message, that's all. No big deal. There's no case going to be counted against you. No more defects anymore. But the way it is right now, it's still set up, you know, so just be cautious. I forgot to warn you guys last week that Columbus Day was coming up. There are certain holidays considered major holidays, and there are certain ones that are not as major. Columbus Day, to my knowledge, was really observed by the post office only. I don't know of a single retail store that closed. All right? Every store around was open. Unfortunately, I guess all the people went out shopping and they were not on eBay because it was my worst selling day of the week. My sales were good last weekend, quite good, but Monday was absolutely awful. I went on to the Facebook groups and I would say about 75% of the people were complaining they had either no sales at all or just one sale. I myself had one sale. I should have warned you guys, but traditionally, any holiday, bar none, is the kiss of death for online sales. I've always noticed that. And we're entering in a period now where we're going to see quite a few holidays in rapid succession. For instance, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Depending on what you sell, there are quite a few people that benefit from holidays. So let's talk about Halloween. If you guys sell Halloween related costumes or that kind of stuff, you will see a spike in your sales. Whereas niche sellers that do not sell it, like myself, will not see that. The same goes for, let's say, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those of you guys who sell items geared to the season or geared to the holiday will see a spike in sales. I will not. However, to be fair, to be honest, TBH, my sales, since I'm in a niche business, are steady all year for the most part. Whereas I notice a lot of you guys will have peaks and valleys. Like in the summertime when people go away, you guys will be complaining. So what I'm saying is, all in all, I think it equals out at the end. When all is said and done, you guys who tend to slow up in the summertime will gain it back at the holidays. Where I will not gain anything at the holidays, I'll just have my steady blah 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 thing throughout the year. That is my experience anyway. So if you guys have any questions or comments on that, please tell me. This week, as I said, my sales were pretty good. Actually, I think they were very good, with the exception of Columbus Day, which was Monday, which was a fail, but there's no surprise there. What I'm mainly interested in from you guys this week is your feelings on opening cases with both eBay and PayPal. For instance, if a buyer opens an item not received case with eBay and eBay sides with you, the seller, should they be allowed to open it with PayPal? I don't think so. You can't be tried for murder twice. If you're exonerated the first time, you can't be tried again. I don't know why they allow this. I think because it's two different and distinct companies. That's my feeling now. They never used to allow this. But again, if it happens to you guys, as long as you have your tracking number uploaded, you will be fine. All right, I think that's going to be basically about it for right now. Let's check on the time here. Oh, wow. I missed a periscope. You know, sometimes my phone doesn't make the little periscope noise, and sometimes it does. So it looks like I just missed on one of my periscopes. But anyway, I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please comment below, especially on the double jeopardy of opening cases with both eBay and PayPal. If you have any concerns about the China sellers or guest accounts, I'd like to hear about them, or any eBay issue at all across the board. And again, with Periscope, right behind me on the board. Follow me on Twitter at HubcapJoes, and then follow me on Periscope as well. Okay? Hopefully, you'll find my Periscopes helpful. I'm Crazy New York Driver. See you guys next week. Rock on, man.